Hello, everyone. My name is Bernardo Sim, and I'm a writer for Pride. Today, I'll be speaking with Todd Haynes and Charles Melton about May December. So let's get started. Todd, it can be a common queer experience to meet someone and question whether you're interested in being with that person or becoming that person. Sometimes it feels like the dynamics between Gracie, Elizabeth, and Joe are a little more complex than what meets the eye. What is your take on that?
There's a lot embedded in that question, Bernard. But it's a really interesting one. I think this attraction and repulsion that exists between the two women, or at least a sense of warning and self-protection that goes on, a guardedness that's going on, particularly on the side of Gracie. But what you start to see in the interactions between the two women, which are so riveting, but also keep you on your toes in a sense of how you're interpreting the two women and who you trust and who you believe. And it's never entirely resolved through to the end of the film, you know? Mm-hmm. But there's also places where that also shifts, and there is an attraction that exists between the two of them and a mirroring that exists between the two of them in a way that they are kind of seeing aspects of themselves in the other and are attracted to that in the other. But the criticisms that they see in each other are things they don't see in themselves. And so there's all of these partial visions that are being played out, I think, in the dynamic between the two women.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. Charles, you've been getting a lot of recognition for your performance of Joe, which is absolutely incredible. Congratulations. And how
Thank
does it
you.
feel to be nominated and get such acclaim for this movie?
It feels cool. Um, um, you know, I remember the feeling I had after we finished filming for those 23 days in Savannah, Georgia, and just being with Todd and Natalie and Julie and everyone on that crew. And after we wrapped up, I was just this, I felt like this is the way I want to work. And I learned so much in that experience. It's the best experience in my career. And nobody could take away those 23 days we spent with each other. And that was the gift. That was the gift. And everything else is just, you don't think about someone seeing the movie or anything like that, but I just remember those 23 days and being just so grateful. And everything else is just incredible and amazing. And even talking with you, it's just there's a lot of gratitude that you've seen the movie, I think, right? Yes.
Yeah, I
And
do.
that,
Yeah.
so it's just very exciting.
Yeah. Todd, one of the storylines in May December pertains to the casting process of young actors who could play Joe in the fictional movie being made. So I want to get a little meta here. When did you know that Charles was the right choice to play Joe?
Oh man, Charles's reading that he sent us wasn't like anybody else's. And there were some really fine actors in the mix, particularly as we narrowed down to our favorites. But there was something different in what he did. There was something more internal and more unconscious almost and nuanced about it. And what all of a sudden I felt that I could see Joe of the present story tense of the time in which the story unfolds, but I could also see the past. And so the entire history all of a sudden became something that his performance and its interpretation made possible for me. And so I knew this was the guy who would build this film upon.
Amazing. And Charles, maybe I'm projecting here a little bit, but I can only imagine feeling pretty overwhelmed if I was attached to a project that had so many scenes with Hollywood veterans like Natalie Portman and Julianne Moore. What was your experience like with them on the set?
Hard to express in words. Absolutely incredible. Natalie and Julie as we know, are masters and they're legends at what they
Yeah.
do. And they're even better humans. They're so sweet and collaborative and so encouraging. And I felt so safe being with them on set and being creative. And um, it only, I call Todd, Julie, and Natalie this trifecta of excellence. And they just elevate everything around them in such a way that's so natural and just it's really hard to explain, but it was the best.
Yeah. Todd, this is a brilliant and very specific script from Sammy Birch, who is making her screenwriting debut. What attracted you to wanting to make this story?
Oh, so many things about it. Things we've already touched on in some of the questions you've asked. These layers of reading against the grain of the story, the shifting of our moral perspectives about the story, the way that it's about these two women up front, sort of dominate the story and then yield to it being sort of this third portrait about the man caught in the middle between these two very strong and sort of predatory characters. But it also was a script that I thought could be so exciting to turn into a film because the tonal element would be the job of the director to find and to let the audience feel excited about navigating all those different contradictory feelings, that there would be a sort of compulsive pleasure in that experience. And so we had very little time, very little money, and an incredibly committed collective of people behind the camera and in front of the camera. And we all came together and we made it possible. And I shared all my ideas and decisions about how we would shoot it, but then it was up to everybody else to make that happen. And that's what we tried to do.
Well, incredible job. One of my favorite films of the year. Thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me. I hope you have a wonderful day.
Thanks so much,
Thank
you
you.
too.